Thrilling radio.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's not accepting our stream key, is it?
Nope.
Well, then who are we live to?
Anybody who listens on the app.
We're here. We're having technical difficulties, but we're here. I don't know what to tell you guys. Are we recording?
Vocally, yes. In a way that nobody can, but there's no way anybody can reach us. Like, nobody can tell us anything.
Oh, boy.
Oh. This might just be a recorded-only episode.
Well, this is...
We'll see. We'll find out.
A comedy of errors, really. We've had worse, I suppose.
Have we? Yeah. Yeah, we have.
We've had actual lost episodes. Ow.
Somebody left the soundboard up. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm just being a child right now because I can't get the fucking stream to work.
Somebody check the encoders too, just to make sure.
No, the encoders. I got the encoders on. I got everything is all set to go. I just can't get this fucking stream key to work. Copy. Settings. Stream. Grrr. All right, well. Shit.
So, how about that game?
I know, right? All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait. I'm going to go use the bathroom.
All right.
I'm going to come back, and we're going to hope that it connects to the server. Because that's all we can really do right now. And if that doesn't work, then we're just going to do the show as a recorded thing for the SoundCloud.
Oh, boy. All right.
Boy, indeed. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Do you hear the happiness in my voice?
Thrilling commentary. Hopefully this all gets cut out in the recording.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been sitting here in silence for the past 5 minutes.
All right. New plan. Here's what we're going to do.
I'm listening.
We're just going to get in the car and we're going to leave. No. So here's what I'm going to do.
Honestly, I'd probably take that at this point.
Yep.
This is not going well.
Nope. Here's what we're actually going to do. Is that a fart?
No, that was me scooching the chair forward.
Could have.
It sure sounded like it, I know, but...
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 3DM podcast, episode number 32. I'm Jake, and we've only got 2 DMs today. Paul is in studio.
Indeed,
because
I am.
Nacho went back to school, and his job doesn't want him to be able to podcast on Sundays.
Press F to pay respects for Nacho.
Press F to pay respects for Nacho, Nacho's truck, and just really, the poor boy's life is going downhill fast.
Sorry, Nacho. We don't really mean that.
We love you, buddy, wherever you are. Let's see. So let's just address the elephant in the room. Every single one of our cars has broken down in the last 3 weeks, conveniently on Sunday or Saturday. And that has made getting out here to do the show difficult, to say the least.
Yeah, a bit.
So we finally got the car situation taken care of. Next on the list of other things that have recently gone wrong in life, I am currently hungover as all get out because my beloved Michigan Wolverines lost last night to Notre Dame, and I handled things like a responsible adult by drinking a lot of whiskey. A lot of whiskey.
Press F to pay respects for Jake.
Yeah, no, I'll be fine. I'm just very hungover.
Also, you may note that we don't have any video going on right now, and you're listening to this via SoundCloud.
Yes, we will. We do have a video recording of it right now, so technically you will be able to see how miserable I look, if you can't already tell from my voice. But That'll come later.
We're
So,
having some technical difficulties.
first things first, let's just get our announcement out of the way. We are going to officially start doing the show. As of right now, we're going to start doing it bi-weekly instead of weekly. What that means for us is, so we're going to aim for the first week and the third week of every month. That is the goal. And we're mostly just doing that so we have more time to prepare shows and get better content. Because sometimes, like it's a slow news week in D&D.
Honestly, we're kind of in a content drought right now.
I mean, like, everything we've got is like kind of the stuff that we had, to build shows around. And so we've actually got a pretty packed show today. So we're just going to, give ourselves a bit more time. That way I can also do stuff like get us a better working website and like finish up a lot of the neat little things that I've been trying to get done. And I just haven't because I work in construction and we're very, very busy in the summer. So
on that note, do we have an ad read to do?
Oh, no, we don't. We missed the Audible ad read. I know. It sucks.
It's unfortunate. In the meantime, though, we can thank Podcast Detroit for hosting us.
I had to pay for a bunch of studio time in September because we had 2 call-offs and it could have been paid for by Audible, but it didn't happen. But thanks, Podcast Detroit. We still love you. All right. Paul, let's hop into it because we've got a lot of stuff to cover.
All right, well, let's have at it.
So first of all, very first thing that we were planning on doing was bought a couple of things from the DMs Guild.
An excellent website. I highly recommend it.
And product number 1. So they released the Eberron book on the DMs Guild. We talked about this some weeks ago. And we bought it, and we went through it. Paul, you did the heavy lifting on the reading because you're good at reading.
Yes, I did. It's Eberron.
Talk us through it.
Hold on. Sorry, 1 second. Do you want me to talk about the entire book or something specific?
Just, just cliff notes. Give us the highlight reel, review, if you will.
It's a source book for the Eberron setting, which if you played in 3rd edition, you probably know at least something about. It's, I guess the best way to describe it is it's a sort of a play on different fantasy tropes that aren't usually done. Like you've got magic trains and airships and stuff, which is not something you see in traditional D&D. And you've got organized religious powers and honestly a fairly low power cap for the major characters in the setting. It's not like Forgotten Realms where you've got 20th level wizards all over the dang place. I'm pretty sure the most powerful beings in Eberron are either villainous or stuck. Basically, they have to do something. So, importantly in Eberron, for what most people are looking for, we have official Warforged rules.
Which are good.
They are. And we've also got a lot of setting description for all of the different, cities, towns, nations, which is good because Eberron has historically had a fairly good political setup.
Yes. It is widely vaunted widely touted, excuse my poor use of English, for its excellent mix of you're able to do ridiculous high fantasy shit, and then suddenly you can boil it back down, bring it back to, political intrigue, and it's a very versatile setting. It, it lends itself very well to doing many different styles of game.
Yeah.
All within one setting.
In this edition, though, Wizards sort of emphasizes the pulp action genre, so to speak, which makes sense with what you've been describing.
Yeah.
It's less high fantasy and more, fantasy set in the sort of 1800s is the best way to put it. But.
And a lot of the combat and things that happen, I love how they, they're using pulp action as kind of their descriptor. It's straight up anime, dude. I
wouldn't go that far.
With a lot of the fighting and stuff, the way things are described and stuff. It's just I can totally see this. I can totally see a pink-haired character just doing crazy stuff on an airship.
You gotta have blue hair, man.
I know, it's so pretty. But no, it's a great book. My only real qualms with it, because I did read it too. Just Paul's better at reading and that stuff. My only problem with it is you can't physically get it as a book.
It's only DM's Guild. There's no hard copy.
Yeah, there's no hard copy. It's PDF only, which is a minor pain in the ass. For me personally, I prefer to, have the books in my hand, read the books. I famously have stated that most of my D&D book reading gets done on my toilet.
Well, I mean, it's not.
I think it's where a lot of DMs do their idea searching and reading.
I do mine in the shower, but
Yeah, well, I do both. Yeah, the bathroom is my creative place. The bathroom is my muse. So, overall, I think we both agreed that we recommend the book because Eberron is actually, like, even though I've been sitting here kind of throwing shade, it's just because I'm angry at the world. We both agree it's a fantastic setting, and it's a fantastic setting book, and it's an official product. So
yeah, I would give it good ratings across the board.
If if anything, it's what I love about Eberron is it's very easy to pilfer from.
Yeah, you can steal things from it.
There's a lot of very cool stuff you can just steal and add to your own game and look.
Magic trains,
elementals being bonded to stuff.
Unified Postal Service sending.
Halflings riding dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of really neat stuff. So it's definitely worth I believe, how much did I pay for it? It was $20.
I think it was $20.
$19.99. It's 20 or 25. Yeah, that's how much research went into that for today because your boy is struggling. So we got that, and then what was the name of the other item that was purchased?
Wasn't it 100 Monster Hunts or was it 101? I forget.
It's 100. I'm trying to get the exact. Hang on, let me.
Oh, we're really selling this product,
aren't we? No, because it's awesome. 100. Technical difficulties. Yeah, I got it. I'm going to share a link of it, too, just because it's awesome. All right, so it is from Vol Serene. It is called 100 Monster Hunts. I'm going to link this bad boy to the Facebook page.
I'd be hopefully not going to give them the PDF or anything.
No.
Deprive the author out of their hard-earned money.
No. This is just a link to where they can go buy it.
Yeah.
So 100 Monster Hunts. Very straightforward. This is the ultimate. You need to kill time.
It's a bunch of plot hooks.
Yeah. You need to kill time in a game session or something, or like
scatter them liberally about.
Let's say, well, the way I find it useful is, let's face facts. As a DM, it takes a lot of time to prepare good content.
And then people sidestep it, of course. So.
And then they just walk past your carefully plotted bait, But some weeks you're busy. Some weeks, you ain't got time, and but everyone still wants to do D&D night, and you want to do D&D night too. Because
some weeks you worked a 10-hour day just before having to run the session.
Yep, and you just ain't got time. And this book is fantastic for that. It has 100 quests ranging from level 1 to level 20. These are all like ye old town center corkboard kind of quests.
Yeah, the job board.
Ye old
jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Your hobos of murder.
And there are a bunch of very entertaining ones. I mean, there are,
there's the straightforward ones where you go and fight a monster in its typical environment.
Yep, and there's a basilisk running about, or there is a
which I had to admit isn't terribly creative, but the other ones make it up.
There are a lot of very funny ones. My personal favorite is kids at the local orphanage are having their tooth fairy money stolen, and it's the entire adventure. The big hook is it's 3 goblins dressing up as the tooth fairy every night, like standing on each other's shoulders and sneaking into the orphanage, and then taking the tooth fairy money after the actual tooth fairy leaves money.
Which, of course, implies that the tooth fairy exists, but
But hey, I don't know.
I'm sure you can work with that.
Yeah. Nice silver piece for your teeth.
I would take that.
Yeah, I'd take that too. It's like $10. The teeth exchange rate is high in fantasy settings.
Well, she's got to build her castle of teeth somehow.
Oh, geez, that's grim. But there's a bunch of really cool stuff like that. A lot of, fun little dinky quests that you can just sprinkle and add into your game. And you can even, again, just look at the job board and just instead do the hooks yourself.
Yeah, and even if Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt there.
No,
but-
you're good. Just do just introduce the hooks yourself, just without the job board is a better way to say what I was trying to say. What are you going to say, Paul?
I was going to say, even if you don't much intend to use these, you can use these as flavoring for different odd jobs before you get to the actual hook that you intend for the day to sort of, this is going to sound a bit weird, but it's a sort of veneer to imply that the path is not set.
Yeah. It's good side quest material for sure. Because once the players do get, deep into a plot, that's generally all they care about. But, this is definitely a good little sideway. If I have one minor complaint about the book, and it is $4.99 on the DM's Guild. If I have one minor complaint about the PDF itself, and the material inside, is the quest rewards are a little extravagant.
It seems like a lot of money.
It's
given the
a lot
exchange
of money.
rate.
When we look at like how the economy is supposed to work, which, to be fair, and to kind of discredit my own point that I'm making, the way the economy is set up and laid out in all the books is very haphazard. And there's a great Reddit post that I found somewhere that I keep it bookmarked because they took all the information, compiled it, and then give like a breakdown of how the economy is supposed to work in 5e and what money is actually, like the actual value of money. Now that I've said all that, these quest rewards are
A lot of money.
a lot of money. Like there was one.
This isn't take money out of your savings account and pay off the person who did an odd job for you. This is
every penny that we should have. Like
that our entire village has ever earned.
yeah. Some of them are reasonable. Some of them are like, good Lord, that's a lot of money. But that it's the minor. It's like the tiniest complaint because you can just change it yourself. Other than that, though, great buy. Good time saver. Again, if you been a long week, you ain't got time to plan for a game, or you just want to add something funny and cool into your game. Sweet, here you go.
3 goblins under a sheet.
Yep, 3 goblins under a sheet. $4.99 on the DM's Guild, and I highly recommend it. It's a great product. It's also good, just as a quick aside too, I saw an article mention this thing, and it was like a good for a Witcher-style game where, they're monster hunters going around and catching monsters. It's good for that.
Yeah, I've actually got a player in one of my games. He's going to be playing a discount monster hunter, so I may have to use it for that.
Yeah. So highly recommend that. That was made by Vol Cyrene. I'm hoping I'm saying it right, but
yeah, it should be Vol Cyrene or Vale. Vol Cyrene.
Yeah, now see now we don't even know, but whoever made it, however we say your name, good job, good stuff. Please go buy it. So, next thing to cover, we had Unearthed Arcana come out. New Unearthed Arcana for some of the races that are going to be appearing in the Ravnica sourcebook.
Which I'm looking forward to, personally. I mean, I'm a Magic the Gathering player, so you know how it is. But everyone likes Ravnica. I don't think you can find somebody in the Magic fandom who doesn't like Ravnica.
There's always that one guy.
Yeah. I thought Prophecy was the best. But aside all that, there are 4 new races, and while some of them are perhaps riffs on other races, 2 of them are pretty interesting to me personally.
Break them down. Let's break them all down, Paul. Let's go through the math and the metric.
Alphabetical order?
Yep. Let's do it.
Well, the first one then is the Loxodon, which is an elephant person.
It's an elephant centaur.
It's not really a centaur because it's only got 2 legs.
Centaurfant.
It's got 2 legs, man.
Elephantarment.
Regardless, the Loxodon has a large bonus to Constitution and a small one to Wisdom. One thing that should be noted about these races is that there's no sub-races for any of them. You get what you pay for. That's it. You don't get any other choices. So you get a bonus to Constitution and Wisdom, and I believe you get the racial bonuses from dwarves that nobody cares about, like Stone Cunning and Proficiency in Masonry tools.
Yeah.
And you also get, importantly, hefty natural armor. Like, hefty natural armor. We're talking AC 13 plus Dexterity base armor class, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Especially for, a squishier class like the Druids and Clerics that the Constitution and Wisdom bonuses would lead you towards.
Yeah. Again, just the idea though of Loxodon Rogue cracks me up because elephant person, big old elephant person.
Yeah, they're
described,
huge.
Yeah, they're described as being on average like between 7 and 8 feet tall, and weighing in at a handsome 500 to 700 pounds. So the idea of Loxodon Rogue just makes me laugh really, really hard. It's like Orc Rogue. I'm going to sneak attack you with a great axe. And before someone corrects me and says, you can't sneak attack with a... I know you can't sneak attack with a great axe, but it's funny.
Sneak attack with siege weaponry.
But I'm going to sneak up on you and hit you with this trebuchet. You ain't going to see this trebuchet coming, Chief.
Well, it's because it can fling a rock over a mile.
All right, let's... No, they're not going to use the trebuchet. They're just going to hit you with the actual trebuchet.
Yeesh. Rough. Regardless, once you get past the Loxodon, you have the Simic mutants, and one thing that should be noted for people who aren't Magic fans is the Simic is a what's the word? A consortium of mad scientists, but like on the biological side, as opposed to its mad scientists in the engineering side. So, Simic hybrids have bonuses to Constitution and 1 to any other stat of their choice, which is pretty good. I mean, when I see any of your choice, that boosts it up a bit in my esteem. So you could use it for practically anything. And I believe, I'm blanking a little bit here, but I believe they also have some sort of natural armor as well.
Let's see here. We've got speed, dark vision. Nope, no armor.
Shows what I know.
Yep, well, I got the PDF open here, so
Regardless,
I'll step in.
they do have their thing is that they get random bits of other animals in order to benefit themselves. For example, they get 1 at 1st level and 1 at 5th level. And for example, they have the ability to gain a swimming speed or climbing speed equal to their movement speed. And they also have the ability to reduce the distance of their falls by 100 feet as far as falling damage goes. For some reason, that one, the falling one, is the manta ray one and not the swimming one, which seems weird to me. But
weird, but whatever. Hey, yeah. So here are the options you get, which is this is pretty nifty. You get Manta Glide at level 1. You can take Manta Glide, which allows you to not fly but fall with style.
Yeah.
As Buzz Lightyear would like to kindly remind you can do. Nimble Climber gives you, the ability to climb, having climbing speed equal to your walking speed, which
does negate the need for climbing checks, which is pretty nice. But.
Yeah, it's nifty. Underwater adaptation allows you to breathe underwater. Boom. Let's get to the big one.
Swim, but.
So at 5th level, you get to pick another one. Grappling appendages is you get either claws or tentacles,
and you can whap people with them.
Yeah, they do 1d6 damage plus your strength modifier instead of the normal bludgeoning damage. And don't mind me just dying. Okay, we're back to the Land of Levy. You can use them as an attack. Use them to attack, and then immediately after grapple somebody as a bonus action with your grappling appendages.
So you just sort of whap them while you're holding on to them.
Yeah, and you just it actually, like, the idea of a hybrid fighter doing that is actually just kind of funny, like claw hands on the underneath, grabbing people, and then just continue to hit them with a hammer.
Yeah.
Carapace is interesting.
Isn't the armor class one?
Yes. Your skin in places is covered by a thick shell. You gain a +1 bonus to AC when you're not wearing heavy armor.
Interesting. Flat bonuses to AC are pretty rare.
Exactly. Other than that, not that great.
And the last one, the one that we talked about most of the
car. The one that we actually did do a lot of discussion about in the car was Acid Spit, because god damn, that's strong. As an action, you can spray a stream of acid from glands in your mouth, targeting one creature or object you can see within 30 feet of you. The target takes 2d10 acid damage,
Youch.
Unless it succeeds on a dexterity saving throw against a DC equal to 8 plus your constitution modifier plus your proficiency bonus. This damage increases by 1d10 when you reach 11th level and 4d10 when you reach 17th level. At level 5, and so there's no rest on this, so it
just happens whenever you want. It's like Eldritch Blast, kind of.
Yeah.
But anyone can do it, and it's acid.
it does take up your action, so you can't do it multiple times. So like it's not super good for a fighter.
But on the other hand, it's also based on Constitution.
Yeah, it is, however, a 2d10 30-foot attack, and so that
can't be taken away from you.
Yep, that's it's pretty good. Yeah, no, you've been handcuffed. Surprise, acid. No one ever expects the guy to spit acid. Got 2 more to cover. We got the Vedalken.
Vedalken.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
Nailed it. Break them down for me. You're the magic lore guy.
They're smart. Well, it depends on the plane they're on, but they are dispassionate, almost emotionless humanoids who greatly seek understanding of the universe. They're a typically blue race when it comes to the colors of magic. And in this game, they are excellent wizards, unsurprisingly.
Let's go over what they get real quick. So their ability score increases. They get intelligence score increased by 2 and wisdom score increased by 1.
This is, I believe, the largest intelligence bonus we've seen on a core race so far.
Yeah.
Well,
gnomes,
on an official race, I should
say. Well, gnomes get intelligence, but that's about it.
Isn't it only +1 for gnomes? I don't remember.
It might be +2. We got a player's handbook in the bag. Break out the bag. I'll keep reading. Alignment are most. They're usually lawful, rarely evil, neat. Size, they are slightly taller than humans. They're about 6 to 6.5 feet tall. Usually weigh about $180. 30-foot walking speed. They have an advantage. This is interesting. Vidalcan Dispassion. You have advantage on all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws.
Very strong.
That is a lot.
Especially because wisdom is the one that usually gets you.
Yeah, wisdom and charisma are like, whenever you have to make a wisdom or a charisma
you start
check,
clenching a little.
Yeah, you get a little nervous because it's somebody's getting mind controlled or something you really don't want to happen is going to happen.
Like if you fail a con saving throw, that's bad.
Yeah, it's poison.
You might be poisoned or dying.
Or you might be turned to stone. That's the worst of it. But
well, you got to fail 3 of those freaking things.
Yeah, still.
Also, yes, gnomes do get +2 intelligence, so that's wrong.
But still, 2 and free wisdom and advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saves is beefy.
It is bonkers, I believe you mean to say. That is a very strong bonus.
Yes. And then they get one more thing. It's called Tireless Precision. You are proficient in one of the following skills of your choice: Arcana, History, Investigation, Medicine, Performance, or Sleight of Hand. You are also proficient with one tool of your choice. Whenever you make an ability check with the chosen skill or tool, roll a d4 and add the number to the check's total.
That's good. Isn't that kind of like expertise then?
Yeah, it's like a step down from expertise. It's not quite as good as expertise. Well,
it's kind of random expertise.
It's random expertise. It could be better. It could be worse. Or it could be exactly the same as expertise. So, yeah. And those are all like pretty handy skills to have too.
Like there's no perception on there, but that'd just be ridiculous. At that point, I'd be declaring it overpowered.
Yeah. But
Still,
history, investigation, medicine, performance, sleight of hand, arcana.
Stuff you're good at.
Yeah, stuff you're going to be good at as a freaking wizard anyways, because why would you not play a wizard with this race?
It's not like there are any other intelligence-based classes.
Yeah, which I'd like to see a change to. And we're on to the last one. It is the
Vyashno, I believe?
Vyashno, yes. Hit me with the lore, Paul.
Well, I actually don't know much about the Vyashno. I'll be completely honest. I know that they existed on Dominaria for some time and they lived on the Isle of Shiv, but I'm sure I'm going to get corrected on that and tell me that they're actually a backwards transplant from Ravnica or something.
Huh, fair. All right, I've got the lore right here, so I'll just break it down a little bit. They are humanoid lizards covered in green scaled skin, lizard folk. And
they got spines on them. They got spikes.
They got spiky protrusions, spines, long teeth. Now, here's one thing I do like about them, though. As much as I do love the hilarious lizard folk that is presented in Volos as a playable race, where they are, they're like smart enough to, be functional members of society, but at the same time, like they still look at you like you're a steak. These are portrayed as much more, shall we say, sociable.
Gregarious.
Yeah. and their big thing is they are very emotional, and
they represent themselves with fire.
Yeah, with fire.
So it says that their sorcerers usually use fire, and they use fire-based spells whenever they can. And so on and so forth.
They're big on fire, and they like to break stuff basically. And
they move fast and break things.
Yeah, that's kind of their shtick. Cool little role play bit too. They change their names often. They just pick up a name depending on like their mood.
Yeah, how they feel about it.
Yeah,
which means it's hard to keep track of which Vyash knows which.
Yeah. And let's break them down. So, ability score increases. Dex score increases by 2. Strength increases by 1.
Those usually have overlap, but you find out that most melee characters want to have both at a decent level anyway.
Yeah. And just a free, even if you choose to do other stuff, dexterity is pound for pound the strongest stat in the game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like it's close with constitution. So, and then just having a free point of strength, even if you want to play something else,
that's an extra 20 pounds you can carry.
Yeah, that's an extra
using encumbrance rules.
Yeah. It's always. I've seen a lot of people dump strength, and then athletic checks are a bitch.
Yeah. That's because whenever an athletics check comes up, that's a check you have to pass. It's not like history, where if you pass it, you got to do some more reading. If you fail an athletics check, you are probably going to get hurt.
Badly. Yeah, no, athletics is always a check that the fighters are like, yay, and then you just like look at the wizard and they're like, uh-oh.
I ran out of fly spell slots. I'm in trouble.
Uh-oh. Age. I do love how they point out it's like they normally don't live this long because they normally die, but because they live violent lives, but they can get to 60 and they're fully grown adults by the time they're like 13.
Sounds like a perfect adventurer.
Yep. Alignment, they are chaotic, but they don't really give a damn about good or evil. They just like to break stuff.
It is nice to see races finally on the law versus chaos axis rather than just the good versus evil axis.
Yeah, that is. I can definitely agree with you on that. 30-foot speed, they get a bite, 1d4 plus strength modifier, piercing damage.
I don't know, 1d4 seems kind of weak, honestly.
Yeah, I think lizard folk, if you wouldn't mind breaking out Volos and checking lizard folk, I think they get 1d6. But they do get a tail that they can hit stuff with. And it's same thing, 1d4 plus strength modifier and bludgeoning damage. Let's see, we got wiry frame. You gain proficiency in acrobatics or stealth, your choice. And they get common and draconic as stock languages. But that's about it. Like, other than interesting roleplay options, they don't really have anything that,
grabs you.
Gets you from, really changes up the game, so to speak, for it being a good race. It's, it's more, you're definitely more looking into the role play here than you are for,
the actual mechanical
effects.
I mean, the double attacks thing is nice, but it's not, it's not really a make or break thing for me. I would not really care if I had that extra tail swipe.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm looking up the lizard folk.
The lizard folk. Yeah, no, because I'm actually just curious about this, so now I'm just killing time.
Lizard folk. Let's see here. Bite is 1d6 plus strength. I mean, you published this officially, Wizards. Why don't they have a bite that's 1d6?
It is playtest material, so it'll probably get fixed.
I should note that it's probably, honestly, best if you want to play Vashno as it currently stands, that you switch their lore with the lizard folk lore and just use lizard folk instead.
Yeah.
Which is me saying, Wizards, please buff Vashno.
But yeah, no, other than that, though, I still think they're neat.
I'm still looking forward to the Races of Ravnica book.
Yeah, I could.
Or the Ravnica book, and these are the races in that book.
Yeah. They just need a little bit of messing. Overall, though, pretty cool stuff. Nothing I wouldn't not allow if a player came to me about wanting to play one of these in the game. I'd honestly be able to fit it in.
Yeah, although I would take a look at the Veldalkin because
there'd be a lot of trepidation on the Veldalkin. It would depend on how good the player is at D&D. Honestly, like if it's like
how much they're going to power game.
Yeah. If as we've used before. If it's a Jimmy, I might let it happen. If it's a Timmy, I'm definitely okay with it. If it's a Jimmy, that's fine. If Spike comes to me and wants to play a Vidalkin, I'm going to kick him in the throat.
Johnny, I think you mean, but Jimmy and Johnny are similar. Anyway.
Yeah. So, but that brings us to our big point of the day. Segue. Let's talk about bringing in new races to D&D, because looking at these, they were actually really cool options, and I was, happy about it, and, that made me think for, first time in a very long time about what other non-standard
fantasy races.
Yeah, non-standard fantasy races are there. Because I did see a post in some form. It was either on the 5e group or it was on Reddit, but it was asking opinions on a player had wanted to play a Mind Flayer who had cut their connection with the Elder Brain and was going to be a warlock who served Cthulhu, which is
flavorful, I suppose.
Apropos. kind of spot on, at least physically appearance. But... and I kind of read some of the comments, and then I got out of there when people started fighting, because it always happens. But
if you get a bunch of nerds together in one place, they are going to fight.
They are going to fight about something. But that did make me think, it's been a while since I've been approached to add different races and really play with some stuff. And so we're here to advise you on that. So rule number 1 on homebrew, because, we like to
keep it with a very critical eye. Take a look at it.
Yeah. If you are approached and somebody wants to play this homebrew, or not even homebrew, it's something that you've just, kind of written out of your setting. There's a couple of races, like, for example, that just don't exist in my setting. I think the most prominent one is hobgoblins. And I have no really good way to get them in there. Like, I want to, because I think they're really cool. But at the same time, like, having just another warlike race when I've already got enough problems with my warlike races, it's
just causes too many problems that it doesn't really give enough to the game for it to be worth it.
Yeah, I did kind of take the hobgoblin stuff and I combined it with my dragonborn stuff. So,
well, there's that.
But main point being, if
how do you fit these things in?
Yeah, how do you fit it in?
Make sure it's not stepping on another race's toes is, I think, rule number 1.
Yeah, a good example of that for me is I use orcs very differently than they're written in the book. I use more of the World of Warcraft orcs and less the Tolkien orcs.
The Eberron orcs, if you will.
Yeah. Where the orcs be dicks. I've always used my orcs more in the World of Warcraft way because I think they're more compelling that way. That being said, when the Goliath came out, I had a player who wanted to play a Goliath, and the problem for me is that my orcs were basically already doing the same thing Goliaths would do. So it became a bit of a pain in the ass to try to work Goliath into my campaign setting.
Because these two entirely different groups with basically the same culture.
Yeah, they do basically the same stuff because, it just so shaken out that my orc culture was pretty much the same as Goliath culture. So make sure it's not going to step on any toes. Make sure it's going to be able to fit comfortably in your world. There are a couple of, cute little hacks to get around that, they're from a different plane.
They're one of a kind.
They're from a different, like an alternate universe, and wormhole and magic and, there's stuff like that if you just have a one-off, but, there is a happy challenge, though, that can be found from a player wanting to play something that doesn't exist in your setting normally.
Of course, what I like to think of number 2 is don't crowbar it into your setting. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
You can and should try to make it fit if you think that somebody's not doing this just to power a game. But don't bend over backwards to fit everything into your setting.
Yeah.
There's a problem with fantasy kitchen sink settings that people are way too eager to fall into.
Yeah, there has to be everything, which, that's actually a good discussion topic for another day. But, there is, when you're going through the monster manual and you realize that a lot of these sentient races are, all supposed to have their own territory, like, most people hate that they made gnolls more animalistic. I actually love it because suddenly that's like not another race that I have to account for. Hobgoblins are already hard to include.
Like how many fascist dictatorships can you reasonably
how
set
many
up?
how many violent yet somehow successful races can there be?
Surely they got to crowd each other out at some point.
Yeah, no, you'd think they would have all murdered each other. Like there would have been at least a genocide.
Or, the owl bears got them.
Oh yeah, the owlbears get everybody. It's an owlbear conspiracy. Next step in allowing races is
Try not to crush somebody's dreams.
yeah, if it's not gonna work, just you gotta have that conversation with the player. It's a very straightforward conversation. It's just like it's not gonna work in my setting. I'm sorry.
But instead, you could try to do X, Y, or Z, or you could sit them down and ask them what it is about that they like,
Yeah.
and see if you can fit those elements into a subculture of another race or something.
Exactly. There is no reason, say, a good example of that is something I've always wanted to include in my game, but I haven't really found a decent way to do it. Was one of my favorite fantasy races that's not a typical race is the Ronso from Final Fantasy X, because I played a lot of Final Fantasy X when I was a young boy. And the Ronso were always cool to me because they're, giant cat people, and they're, they got horns on their head, and they're freakishly muscular. And, they just jack stuff up with, pole arms and shit. Neat. But there was no real way for me to include them in my setting because it didn't make sense. I mean, I could do the same thing that they did in Final Fantasy, which is they sit on a holy mountain and they protect the mountain. And they all go out on pilgrimage to, go out, learn about the world, then they come back home to protect the mountain.
Forever.
But holy Gagazet. But, I didn't really want to. It felt like it was going to be too forced. Like I let a couple of players play some Ronso because I was like, yeah, no, we're going to do it. And then it never really baked out. It didn't really work until Volos came out with the Tabaxi. And I had to work on getting the Tabaxi in. And luckily for me, they wrote a very thing that was like Mysterious Cat Island. I'm like, sweet, Cat Island. We're going to
Done.
Yep. I'm literally just going to use the plot from Scooby-Doo. What is it? Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. Because that's the big plot reveal at the end is that they're cat people. And they lure people to their island in the bayou. Yeah, no, you'd be surprised how many of my storytelling hooks actually come from that Scooby-Doo movie. That movie transformed 9-year-old Jake's life.
Really?
Zombies?
I thought it was terrible.
You clearly don't know how to appreciate art, Paul. No, it included. I think just as a complete aside from what we were talking about, I think the reason I love it so much is because it's like the first Scooby-Doo movie I've ever seen where everything's actually real. There's no asshole in a mask doing a real estate scheme.
Robots.
Yeah, it's like there's actually zombies. There's actually cat people.
You mean we've been chasing down real estate developers when we could have been hunting
Dracula? I told you Supernatural is good in small doses. But back to what we're actually talking about, and this is including races. With the Tabaxi, I suddenly was able to get the Ronso in because, A, they could be a subclass of Tabaxi, the bigger, more muscular Tabaxi. And
the mean ones.
Yeah, the mean ones.
Jackass
And,
cats.
we'll give them, more of a warrior nature.
Yeah.
Change some stats around, and suddenly...
Give them a holy mountain to protect.
Yeah, give them a mountain to protect. And, suddenly I can... Now it works. Now it makes sense. There is actually a precedent, for there being fucking cat people. Other than that, though, when it comes to just adding stuff like that, like if you have something that you love from fantasy or elsewhere and you want to put it in, then... just, again, make sure it makes sense for your setting. Make sure it doesn't feel schlepped in because if it's, you should be able to tell, you'll have a sense for this thing if, it fits or if it's, one of these things is not like the other. Just for example, okay, what races can I play? Well, there's human, there's half-elf, there's Krogan, there's orc. The Krogan? Yeah, no, I love Mass Effect, so I just threw the Krogan in there.
Despite this being a fantasy game.
No, but one of these things is not like the other.
One of these things doesn't belong, is what you're saying?
Yeah, one of these things needs a little adjustment. I mean, Krogan would be sweet in D&D.
I think we call those ogres.
Yeah, I think we do. Just you can take the Krogan and you can alter them, muddy them down a bit, get them so they're game appropriate. But as long as it doesn't glare and stick out, as long as there's no sharp, pointy ends, so to speak.
And of course, make sure not to flood your setting with this stuff, as I said before.
Yeah, one or two little changes for flavor is good. I honestly encourage it.
Once you have 30 races, though, you need to step back and look at what you're doing.
You gotta stand back, and
especially if your party looks like something out of the circus.
We got a Warforged, we got a Krogan, we've got a Ronso, and we've got a Veldkin.
Oh, we got one normal dude,
and one guy who's playing Variant Human because it's still better than everything else.
That's the spike right there.
Yeah, that's the spike right there. Everyone else is playing all these ridiculous characters, and, well, I get a free feed. 2 free skills. Sold. Bought.
Regardless.
Oh, well, Paul, we got about 4 more minutes to kill on this topic, too. Then we're done with the show.
Well, in that case, do I have something for you? Recently, I purchased something from the DM's Guild myself.
Oh.
I believe it's called How to Cook.
Go on.
The idea is, and hold on, just don't interrupt me until I finish here.
All right, I'm with you.
The idea is that you could use the ingredients you could gain from killing certain, hopefully non-sentient monsters in order to make excellent dishes. And there's a bunch of rules. I mean, it's only about a 6-page book.
Yeah.
I bought it for about $1. But there's a bunch of rules as to how to make an excellent dish and get the party involved in the skill checks required to make a feast and the benefits from doing so.
Okay. All right, I'm with you.
It also comes with a feat, which allows you to, the leader's inspiring speech thing?
Yeah.
It lets you do that, but with food. And also, I believe, gives resistance against poison.
Now, the most important question I have is, what do you make with owlbear?
Owlbear steaks. Look, if you can't think of anything else, just always make steaks.
I mean, true. But I don't know, though.
Realistically, fried owlbear over rice.
Is owlbear, but is owlbear red meat or white meat?
Depends which half of the bear.
Is it like chicken? Is it going to be, like any bird you kill?
Look, a hungry adventurer can eat anything.
I just need to know because, you got to follow certain protocols for certain types of food. If it's a red steak, then yeah, you can cook that bitch medium rare. But if it's
let's go with red because there seems to be more bear in it than owl.
If it's poultry though, Paul, you can't eat it unless it's been cooked over 165 degrees. You'll get the salmonella.
Does fantasy salmonella exist in your setting?
It does because I cooked for 8 years, Paul. There's just some things you can't leave behind. There are some things that you can't let go of.
Fine, charbroiled. That'll kill the salmonella real good.
Yeah, I'm just going to get deep down in there and kill all that salmonella.
But no, I do recommend it.
Yeah, no,
It's a fun
I'll make sure I link that too because that actually sounds like fun. I might buy it myself. Well, gang, that's our show for this week. We're figuring out what we're going to do for the next show now that we kind of got our ride situation sorted and everybody's back in school and we're getting all that stuff taken care of. So we'll be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks sounds good to me.
Yep.
So not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that.
Yep. Nailed it, Chief. All right, guys. Well, I'm Jake.
I'm Paul.
And this has been another half-assed episode of
the 2DMs podcast.
The 2DMs podcast because everything just keeps going nutty on us. We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. The power of the internet. Fucking up video. Oh well.
So it goes.